All right, we got Glen Parada finally, one-on-one with you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me back, man. Appreciate
Thank you for
it.
coming in. You got your brother
Absolutely,
here.
yeah.
Nice to bring the family in, huh?
Yeah, I have to, man.
So we got the Parada Show going on. We got Parada Mortgage.
Yep.
All kinds of stuff. So where's the Parada Show at?
Right now, we were supposed to come out already, but there's so much more in production than just recording. And I think you mentioned that the other time I was here. And a matter of fact, we decided on Sunday instead of Saturday, and that was your idea as well too. But yeah, it was so much with the promos. Tico, if you remember Tico, big shout out to Tico. He's putting us all over the map, new satellite and everything to reach more people, and Roku. I think he mentioned that before too, and Comcast. All that's coming in play. So the promos are getting pushed just a little bit more, and I'm kind of happy he did that, because I was like, man, I'm letting my hair grow. I'm getting skinny a little bit.
Yeah, because remember, he wanted to go. If
Yeah.
people that haven't seen the other episode,
Right.
you wanted to go like tomorrow.
Right.
And Tico, he was like, we gotta pace it.
Yeah.
And you guys were thinking, what do you think?
October.
The first week, October. You were
October,
thinking.
yeah.
And I told you, I said, there is no way in hell
Yeah.
you're going to be done by October. So now, for somebody who's like just curious, what all goes in? Because I know what a podcast is and what goes into a YouTube channel.
Right.
What goes into going on,
We have to build a stage.
TV.
You have to build a stage, right? So he had a whole section out there. Like everybody who watches TV has to understand that what they're looking at is just a stage, and there's just a bunch of props, right? So he literally had to build a desk for me for the Parada Show, which is La Parada de la Noche con Glen Parada. But it has it right there, La Parada de la Noche, at the stop of the night. He built the desk, custom. It even has like blue lights all over. It looks very Miami-ish, right? Black curtains, kind of like we have here. I mean, it's beautiful. So that's finally set up, right? The music, the flyers, it just has to be perfect, right? And recording the promos, that's one of the things that where we at now. It's not just going in there and then just saying what you want to say. Everything's already put in place, like a storyboard. We do this first, you do this second. Everybody knows what's going on. The cameraman knows to go to the second camera. Like it's all drawn out. So when you try to do your own thing, you can't. It has to be, because if not, the cameraman doesn't know what you're doing. The sound guy doesn't know what you're doing.
Yeah, everybody has to be on the same page.
They're following script.
Yeah. So now, like when we're watching Fox or CNN, whatever it may be, when you see like that big glass table and then the background with all the blue lights, is that real, or is that like a green screen type?
It's staged. Some of them are green screen. You can tell when they're green screen. But I mean, some like Fox, they probably like put some money into that.
Right.
But you go into a big production, they have different type of stages for all the shows in that one place, in the corner of the rooms. They can be like, this corner is this show, that corner is that show, and it takes away from the viewer. Like if the viewer walk into that room, they go, "This is where you do the Jimmy Fallon show? I thought it was bigger," and
because it looks bigger, right?
Yeah.
Because like on camera, this looks a lot bigger than what it is. I mean, it's not like it's a fucking peanut hole, but
No, like I don't know if you've seen Saturday Night Live, just a stage. It's literally just a stage.
Yeah.
But when you see it on TV, it looks way bigger. But it's just a studio with a stage and seats.
Yeah, and there's only like 100 people actually in the audience. But it looks like you're in a, when they turn, it looks like you're in a stadium.
Yeah, a whole bunch of props. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So the people who really make a lot of money, those are the props. And that's sometimes where the money goes, is making those props.
And what has been the toughest thing that you've ran into with the TV show? What has been the toughest, the one toughest thing? Hardware, software?
No, you know what? To be honest with you, like, it's Spanish, man. I speak Spanglish, right? There's some words I don't use in fluent Spanish, and just the way that my character, my demeanor is more Spanglish than it is 100% Spanish, if that makes sense. So we decided to do the show Spanglish, but with like 80% Spanish and 20% English, so it can capture my English demeanor, if that makes sense. Right.
Are you going to put closed caption on there?
Yeah,
in English?
They're going to have closed caption on there, yeah.
So everybody can watch it, right?
Yeah. So like doing the promos just to get my point across. Like there's some jokes that I can do that, just like any other jokes. You have jokes from Italy that don't sound the same when you say it in English.
Give me a joke.
Oh, Well,
I put you on the spot.
put me on the spot. Yeah, but you know me, I come up with it as we go along. So
You like ad-lib.
yeah. So I like to I see an opportunity and I say, oh, this would be funny if I say this, stuff like that. You know, it comes quicker in English than it does in Spanish. Sometimes it depends because sometimes in our language, and I'm pretty sure in Italiano and in Spanish, it might be a little bit too crude for TV.
Yeah, so like I can understand Italian for the most part, but I can't speak it. It's all jumbled up.
Right.
You know what I mean? But if two people are talking, I pretty much know what they're saying. But like you said, it's like there's slang.
Right.
That slang can really mess you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that slang is everything. You know?
It's even in English too, right?
Yeah.
Now, what made you want to do a TV show?
One, I grew up watching Spanish TV to a certain extent. It's all the same stuff. Girls like with thongs just running around, you know, bands, you know, just playing loud. It's just like a bunch of stupid stuff, really. It's entertaining though, but there's nothing really like my show is like the Jimmy Fallon show in Spanish. One, because I like Jimmy Fallon. I like the late night. I like how they carry themselves, and it's professional. It's fun. It's everything, right? So we don't have that in Spanish TV.
Yeah. I mean, not that I know, but I've watched it a little bit, trying to learn. When I was trying to learn it, I would put it on. I think I would put on what's the one everybody watches?
Well, it was Sábado Gigante at one point, and then Primer Impacto. I was more like all the girls that were on there, but
what's that one Spanish station?
Telemundo.
Oh, Telemundo.
Telemundo, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're La Mega. So you have Univision, Telemundo, and La Mega. So it's the third.
Univision too.
Univision, yeah.
I would go back and forth. Right, that was the one I was thinking of. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
So we're one of the major ones.
Yeah.
You know? So this is really gonna be huge, and I think it's gonna really people are gonna appreciate to be able to sit down and watch my show as a family. They won't have to like cover eyes or cover ears.
Now, here's my question for you. How are you going to push this? Because it's in Spanish. How are you going to push it to people that don't know Spanish? I understand you got the closed caption, but you want to get everybody you can, right?
Right.
So how are you going to promote that in Spanish to English? I'm just curious how.
The majority demographics in the Hispanic community are Spanglish. The new millennials and everyone, some of them don't even speak Spanish. They speak more English. But majority of them do understand Spanish. Like you said, I can understand it, but I can't speak it. I hear that all the time. So they'll appreciate the show. They'll appreciate the guests. It won't be as boring. It'll still be entertaining for the fathers, but it'll be just as the fathers and mothers, but entertaining for the kids as well. So just the way that you put it all together.
Right. So you're going to make it fun. So it's worth it to sit there and read the closed caption.
Yeah. I'm not going to be like C-SPAN, PBS, you know. People are going to fall asleep.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I was curious because, you know, if you don't know Spanish, for me to sit there and watch it and watch closed caption, it better be really good. You know what I mean?
You know, I've seen international TV. You know, back in the day, there was it's been shows in Russian, Italian, German. I used to live in Germany. I had no idea what they're talking about, but it looked fun and it was entertaining. And you know, you really want to follow what's going on because you want to be like part of the conversation.
Right. Well, you stay tuned. And
you stay tuned.
I remember, like you were saying before. Wait to hear this. So you were talking about bringing in like a mayor.
Right.
And at first you were thinking beer pong, but then you thought, well, we'll put water in it or something else.
Yeah.
Like bringing in like somebody in Florida, some senator, whoever,
right.
Roger Stone, whoever it may be, and have them play beer pong or water pong, right?
Right.
Like things like that will grab attention.
Yeah, it's something that you see that person out of their
realm.
You know, out of their realm. You know, you don't see a mayor doing beer pong. You see a mayor shooting darts or whatever. You know, it's something that just brings them more personalized to the audience.
Yeah. So, what are some things we can expect? I know the beer pong thing's one.
Yeah. No, we have one. Like we have kind of like "Sabes qué," which means "do you know what?" And I thought about this one. I think it would be very fun. Let's say you come on the show and we play "Sabes qué." It's like, do you know this? Do you know cooking? Do you know that? Do you know? So whatever the topic may be, I'll put you on the spot. Like, you're gonna be like, do you know how to cook Italian food? Let's cook, and have someone roll out and let's do some Italian food and pick a plate. You know what I mean? Something fun, something quick too, because you know time. You know, on TV, even like on podcasts, but just something that'll be super fun. Let's see Tommy cook a lasagna. Let's see Tommy cook something like, you know, just something that.
So you're gonna bring somebody in and be like,
yeah,
hey, go cook lasagna.
Yeah, like we'll have someone just come out here and you and me, like a cart,
Yeah.
right? You have your ingredients, I have my ingredients. Ready, go. And we just start cooking. You know what I mean? Like just something fun. People are gonna be like, wow, this Salvadorian gonna be this Italiano cooking lasagna. Although I gotta give a shout out to my aunt. She's from Peru. She cooks lasagna with plátanos, with plantain.
Oh, plantain.
Yeah, delicious, man.
I don't like plantain.
I don't know, man. I got raised with it, bro.
Yeah. You get raised with it. You just eat it, right?
Yeah.
So, when do you have like a release date? Any idea when?
Definitely.
Well, I shouldn't even ask you that because.
Well, definitely, we're gonna start doing promos in December, right? Because we also have sponsors, and I think it's a great time to just start the new year in January and start just pushing that out. So we have to. It's one of those deadlines that we just have to start doing all the promos. So in January, there's at least a show going out, and we could just start the rotation because we're gonna record a couple of shows, and then put one out, and then put another one out, right? And then as we have 1 month of material, we can start recording more shows, and then it keeps rolling from there.
And then you're gonna put it out on Sundays.
Yep, on Sundays.
Well, did you pick the time yet?
Thinking 9 p.m.
You think
9 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll do that. So maybe it actually comes out February, maybe. Like
yeah,
I
think you'll be able to see at least one show in January, but the full month of February.
Because you want to promo.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you have, an hour slot?
We're doing 30 minutes first. Just capture the audience, and then we're gonna move it to an hour.
Now,
right? Because we're also building sponsors.
When you get that hour, or not hour, when you get that half an hour, how much of that is actual time that you have because you got commercials to run?
It's down to the science, man. It's 7 minutes monologue, commercial, 7-minute interview, commercial, 7-minute, Sabes que, the show, the fun stuff. It's because we have to put in time for the sponsors, for the commercials. It's television.
So that's how they do it, 7 to 7.
So it's 21 minutes really of the show. The rest is commercials.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll do good because it will be different, like you said. And it will keep people attracted to it because you don't see a mayor or a Roger Stone playing beer pong or stickball or whatever it may be.
Well, America has its own humor, regardless of where you're from. America has its own humor. It's not white humor, it's not black humor, it's just the humor that we have. So when you see like the Will Ferrell, you see Kevin Hart, everybody laughs about it, right? So just bringing that type of comedy, that type of fun, mixing it with Spanish and English, mixing it with a show that not necessarily the elders from the Hispanic community are used to watching, but it's something different, but still in their language. I think it's going to capture a lot of people.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And I like how you're taking your time about it because when we were talking before,
I was excited, man.
Yeah, I know you're all
I was ready
pumped.
to jump in.
Yeah, because Tico was like, it's already up on his webpage.
Yeah.
But that's good because it means you're interested and you're into it. And then you got the Parada Mortgage, and explain all that because you got a whole thing with that.
Oh, we got a lot going on, man. We were featured on Forbes as the first veteran and Hispanic mortgage company on the island, and that's like one of my big achievement. I remember calling a good friend of mine from Miami, and I was like, "Hey, man, I was on Forbes, and this is something that I just want you to share." And he's like, "You were on Forbes?" He was like, "You did this, you did that." He's like, "I don't know." He told me, "I don't think you understand how important that is. That is an achievement." And I was like, "Well, thank you." I was like, "I'm just trying to build as much PR." Because I was also on Fox News. ABC did a interview with me here, but when you're on Forbes, it's a different story.
Well, yeah, Forbes is Forbes.
Yeah. So that was awesome to think that you got all these banks here, you got all this money here, but you don't have a mortgage company to service them. It's insane.
And what made you want to get into mortgage? I never asked you that.
My brother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he brought me in. I remember it, man. He picked me up. I had long hair. I had my beard down here. I literally had hair up to here, man.
You did?
I looked crazy. I think my brother asked me one time, like, "What's wrong with you, man? Did something happen? Like, did you join a biker gang or something?"
Yeah, you just come from Woodstock?
Yeah. He picked me up one day. He took me to a shop, and he told me I worked there, man. I felt like a kid from kindergarten when your parents drop you off, and he just left. And that guy, I remember, he's I think he was Italian. I don't know if he was Italian, but it's Richard, and he gave me a phone book and told me to make phone calls.
Like cold calls?
Yeah. And back then there was no issues with that. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just repeating stuff I heard Jose say. So I just picked up the phone, imagine you on the other line. I'm saying, hey Tom, you want to purchase a house or refinance? You go, yeah. I go, okay, great. Application. Yeah. Do you want? How do you want to do this?
Were those calls kind of like, like the Wolf of Wall Street? As he's coming up, he goes and he starts throwing penny stocks and he starts making the calls.
Yeah. No, because we were selling. There was so much products from Lehman Brothers, which was garbage, from Countrywide, which was garbage, and we were just selling pay option arms, interest only, 40 years deep. Like it was. And now that we know exactly what it is, it's like it's horrible. You know what I mean?
But you probably learn a lot, though, right?
We learned a lot, man. The first deal I did was like $8,000.
Yeah.
And back in the day, that's a lot of money. So
was it like Wolf of Wall Street when you hit the $8,000 deal? Everybody's like, everybody's like, what the fuck? How did he do it?
Well, in that shop, not so much because they were jerks.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Jealous people.
Yes. The second one, yeah, it was fun, man. It was. We had a blast. I remember this one time we were at 1223 in Georgetown, DC, and I was with my brother there, and we were just dancing, man, like on top of a couch, bro, like it was just pointing at each other, right? At the height of the subprime. And the next day I saw him at the office. I was like, hey bro, I was like, are we dancing to Madonna listening on top of the couch? And he was like, yeah. I was like, damn, it was a good time.
So your brother gets you into it,
yeah,
and then you start doing it. You get your $8,000 deal. Right. You get that, you're probably like,
cut my hair, I shaved, put on a suit.
You're probably like, this is for me now, because you just scored $8 grand.
It makes it real. It makes it real. I mean, when I tell the people that I hire for Parada Mortgages the story, I say a lot of stuff that my brother taught me. And one of the things that he used to say was like, once you see blood, you become a shark. So I'm like, you want to be a shark? You know what I mean? You can't be one without seeing blood first, right? So, and we prep and we get that mentality, right? I've gone at another company, I build like 60 loan officers, but we went through 200. I seen the biggest like a bodybuilder dude just cry and quit.
Really? Like just from just getting beat?
It's all mental, man. You got to, because you have to pass his exam, and then you also have to be good at sales, right? Some of them just couldn't pass the book, man. They couldn't study right, and this is too much for me, and it isn't.
So they could sell ice to an Eskimo, but couldn't pass the test.
Couldn't pass the freaking
Sounds like
test,
me.
man.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, it's just a combination of both, because it's like anything else. You go to high school, you use like what, 20% of that what you really use. Same thing with college, maybe 10%. Just you pass that exam, it's just so okay. Now you do business. You barely use any of that stuff that you studied for. So
then you start with your brother. You go to kind of like the call center thing, and then what's the next step that happens in your life?
I went to so many companies, and they just wouldn't tweak. They wouldn't like give $100 to the buyer to close a deal. They wouldn't do this and that. I was like, man, there's a bigger picture. We can make 20 grand if you just give them 2. Who cares? But they just wouldn't do it, or they don't want to help this person because there's too much paperwork. This stupid stuff. When you're hungry, and I'm a big believer that you always have to be hungry. It doesn't matter how much money you made yesterday. The next day you haven't made nothing, right?
That's right.
So you always got to stay hungry. So they were like, nah, there's too much paperwork. Or that one's going to be too much. In my mind, I was like, well, that's another 15 grand. I'll take it, right? But they didn't want to deal with it. They put it in the back burner. And I was like, there's no one else wants to fix it. No one else really cares. I do. I should just start my own thing.
Now, what do you think it is that people nowadays, the way it is, especially in Florida, why do they, you hire somebody, they work for you, like you said, all they got to do is paperwork, a couple hours,
right,
maybe even a day. So what? You got to stay up all night to make 20 grand. Why do you think these people don't do it? It's just laziness or what? Because I've had it in my engineering company and other companies, and I don't get it. Like, you're really not doing anything, and you're making a shit ton of money.
Right.
But for whatever reason, you choose to either fuck it up or not do it.
I think they have their own imagination of making that money. They see movies like Wolf of Wall Street and everything. They think they just put on a suit and just make a lot of money. They don't see the work that it took to get there. Just to use your same example, the Wolf of Wall Street, you see him closing that one deal. He made $5 grand, but they don't see that he made maybe 1,000 calls before that.
Right.
You know, they don't see that he probably went to Dunkin' Donuts, only could afford a donut and a coffee. You know what I mean? They see just the success part. So what I tell them, a lot of people that I bring on board, I say, I'm not going to sell you on the money. The money's going to speak for itself. I'm going to tell you how hard this is. I'm going to tell you how you probably going to fail the first time. I'm going to tell you this. I tell them all the negative stuff off the bat that a lot of employers might be like, whoa, don't say that. But if I don't set them up right, then I'm setting them up for failure. Because all they see is that, oh, in mortgages, I can make $100,000 a month. But then they don't see what they have to do, the events they have to go, the suits they have to buy, you know, the look, the talk, and everything. It's a process, man. You have to rebuild. You have to rebuild yourself.
Have you ever had anybody in Parada Mortgage where that you hired that worked for you, and you're making whatever, and Parada pulls up in a Ferrari, right? And the guy working for you, he's in a Toyota. Mm-hmm. And over time, it could be his wife, girlfriend, maybe one of his friends. Why is Glenn in that Ferrari and you're driving a Toyota? Well, like you just said, they don't realize that Glenn just spent the last 5 years spending every dollar he had to build Parada Mortgage, right? Learning it, figuring out how to deal with people. That's why you got the Ferrari. But in the businesses that I had, that's why I'm asking the question, some of the people, they started to think that it was their business. Like they built it. You know what I mean? And the reason why Glenn's driving a Ferrari is because you spent 10 years getting it to this point. Now you bring somebody in, they're there a year, they see you in a Ferrari, they're still in a Toyota because they're not working hard. And then you have envy, entitlement. Have you ran into that?
Yeah, well, I put presets. I tell them 90 days to hit this. Nice. You should be doing at least 10,000 plus. If not, then something's wrong. If you're telling me that you're calling clients, you're out there making phone calls, taking applications, you're out in every mortgage event, and you not have one person you can close, then you're not doing what you're telling me you're doing. So I used to have a point system to keep that in track. I said, as a self-employed person, because I told him that's what it is. It's your book of business, and we're partnering together, right? So, if I'm not gonna be like, hey, what are you doing today, Tommy? What did you make? How many calls did you make, Tommy? You have to assess yourself. So I had a point system, and the point system would say, if you make certain calls, if you do certain appointments, certain applications, you should be hitting these numbers. And so you can tell me whatever. Glenn, I called 50 people today. Okay.
I don't care if you called 700 people, right? This is where the analytics show is coming in.
But I would have them held themselves accountable, so they know when they go home they didn't do jack. They're like, yeah, I'm not hitting the numbers because I'm just not doing the work.
So you tell them from the gate, look, this is how it's going to be.
Absolutely. Because then if you have 10 people, look, people can really BS you real good. You have 10 people that they know deep inside, if I'm going to get into this, oh, Glenn just said I have to do all this. Nah, I don't want to do that. It kind of just like filters them out down to 5. 5 come in, 3 pass, 2 are good, 1's a killer, right?
Right.
You know, but what happens when you throw a net without those presets, everyone comes in, and I've seen that before. The company I used to work for a long time ago, they would I would go out there in colleges and just throw a net. But you know how much money they spent on salaries, how much money they spent on just getting them up to par. You know, and it was a lot.
I like that point system.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
And I learned it. I learned it from a guy from life insurance from New York Life.
Really,
I got to give him credit if he's watching. It's John Bear. He's amazing. You know what I mean? So I wish I could say it was me, but it was this amazing guy.
Right, you follow the best.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But that's a good way to judge.
Yeah.
So then
you assist yourself. Yeah.
And how does your career go on?
So I built out a lot in New Jersey. And, being in the Army, we had a lot of Army friends. There's a lot of National Guard in New Jersey. And we started building a lot with soldiers. And I was involved in AUSA, which is a nonprofit for the Army. And just getting involved in community, man. And then just started building there and just slowly started throwing out Parada Mortgage. Because at that point, I had Parada Mortgage under a company, right? Under other lenders.
So you were like an umbrella?
Yeah, like an umbrella. So it would be Parada Mortgage, a so-and-so DBA of, boom, right? But I would still run Parada Mortgage. And so I started reaching out to a lot of vets and everything, and it was great. I mean, it was fun too, man, because when we go out, we go out.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that I did that a lot, to be honest with you, just to feel back like I was in a platoon, back in the squad, back with the crew. You know what I mean? So because they were still active, I was out, and I felt old and fat. I got in shape though, as you can see. Like that was one of my best. I was like 178 there before I moved to freaking Florida and ate all this Cuban food.
What, is that what killed you in Florida? Was it Cuban food?
Came here, man, and that was actually in New York, man. I was in Hoboken, and they went out and we did some pictures and stuff like that, and it was a blast.
When was that picture taken?
About 2 years ago, man. Almost 3.
Well, you got a beard now, so I mean,
yeah.
I think you're gonna shave it for the show. Tico's gonna make you shave it.
Nah, I don't know, man. I kind of like this look. If you go a little bit down, and I was looking at all the pictures from Instagram.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I was with the Lieutenant Governor Nunes.
Stay right there,
if you see her right there in the red, Matt Gaetz, Roger Stone, even with the governor of Florida, DeSantis, and Sabatini and Charlie Kirk. I got the same look, man. I got the beard, the little mustache, the 1920s, which I love that era. So I'm like, I might just stick with it, and so I have to update it.
Isn't that the fuckboy cut? Right? That's the fuckboy cut? That's what it's called?
I'm going to go on my politician talk here and say no comment.
And then there you are in the Army.
So that picture up there on the left when I was a kid, I always tell people I have my picture as that kid that you can donate 10 cents to and feed. That's my picture right there. And I have another picture, and I'm with that. I'm with Jose and my sister, and we're all there. And apparently that was a room in El Salvador where the whole family lived. And on the right is when I graduated boot camp. And that's my tanker uniform, man, right there. That's when I was a tanker.
Yeah. You look buff. You look buff though.
Oh yeah, man.
Keep that right there.
Those sabos in the tanks, those are they look like big bullets, and it just you just really got to work. Everything's heavy, man, in tanks. Everything, even the tracks. It takes 2 people to carry the track. I mean, there was this one white kid that looks like all he did was work out. He could just pick it up himself. But other than that, man, it's like two people, just one track. Think about that.
How long were you in the military for?
4 years.
What was the worst thing you had to do?
Mess with soldiers.
That was the worst?
Yeah.
What do you mean mess with?
Because I was out 4, so we had to be opposing forces. It's kind of like war games, and I'd just go out there and just mess with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and I say that because one time I was locked up, in these war games, and the soldier that was there was like I guess lonely and sad, and he was looking at me. He's like, "You're a soldier, man. Talk to me, man. Talk to me, bro. I'm lonely, man." I was like, "No." I was like saying whatever Arabic and whatever German I knew. I almost just broke character, man. But like, "Yo, what's up, kid?"
Yeah. And I'm sure all being in the military, that really helped the mortgage company grow quick, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, there was a lot of stuff I learned. I needed that. I needed that discipline, man. I needed more. I was a knucklehead. I remember Jose one time waking me up and to go to school in high school. He was like, "Man, I've been trying to wake you up for 10 minutes, slapping you and everything." And he's like, "You're not getting up." But when I came back from boot camp, you make one little noise and I'm up, man. I'm like, "Who's that?"
How much older is your brother than you?
8 years, man.
Oh, okay.
Not to put you out there, Jose. It's just,
Okay, so he can kick your ass.
I'm 21, so. Yeah.
So then how does Parada Mortgage get so big to this point? Because you're doing this, you're working your way up slowly, you're under an umbrella.
Right.
And now you're here in Palm Beach Island.
Now we're 100%. We're not. I am the umbrella at that point, right? So I had one friend that he knows who he is. I'm gonna put his name out there, but if he watches, he knows it's him. He's like, "Glenn, respectfully," he's like, "You don't know nothing." He's like, I'm like, "Nothing." He said a different word, but he's like, "You don't know nothing, man." I was like, "What do you mean I don't know nothing?" He's like, "All you know how to do is network." He's like, "You're the king of networking," and I was like, "I'll take that as a compliment." Because he's like, everything that you accomplish has been through network. I came to Florida without knowing nobody. Literally, we have no family here. I'm bringing family here.
Me and you both.
Yeah.
I came alone.
Yeah.
Listen, when I moved down here, ready for this?
Yeah.
The fucking cable guy was supposed to come, and it was this whole issue, and I didn't know anybody down here at the time. I didn't know who was down here. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I get the apartment. all by myself. The cable guy is supposed to come. Something happened where it was delayed or Comcast had some issue. I had to go 8 days with no cable. And I was waiting for the truck of my stuff to come. So it's like I was literally like sitting on carpet. It was like back 10 years, 20 years ago when things went bad.
Wow.
But I was sleeping on the carpet for 8 days until my stuff came. No TV. All I had was a cell phone. And electric, thank God.
I thought you were going to say the cable guy became your friend like Jim Carrey.
He actually did become my friend when he finally fucking came.
Yeah.
But, but that sucks moving down alone.
Yeah, but it's networking. What I did, and I'll go back a little bit about New Jersey, but talking about Florida, I went to the first networking event that was part of NAREP, because I'm part of NAREP as well, which is the National Association of Real Estate Hispanic Professionals. I probably jacked that up because but it's NAREP. So I went down to Miami at this event and just put on a suit, went in there, introduced myself. Hey, how you doing? From Jersey, blah, blah, blah. I was in NAREP in New Jersey. Now I'm here. And they just took me in, man. You know, they took me in. I started meeting realtors. Then from that event, I went to another event. And from that event, I went to another event. Then I started visiting realtors' offices and just putting out Parada Mortgage, and then just built from there. Just one of the things that I'll tell people that come in this type of industry, or sometimes in other industries, is join organizations or community organizations. That's the best way to put your name out there. And that's what I did. So now everyone from Miami all the way to Orlando that I reached literally know Parada Mortgage and know me personally.
Because you went to all the events, took the time to hand out your card. Hey, I'm Glen Parada, I have Parada Mortgage, blah, 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 blah. So you go there enough times, people know who you are, right?
Yeah, I show face, man. I have a good time with them, a couple martinis, talk about the business. I drive all the way to Orlando. I drive all the way to Miami. I fly to Texas, because that's another place I'm going to. I fly to Texas. I'm flying to California. It's so different when I'm there and I'm like, hey, I'm from Florida, but I represent Jersey still.
Yeah.
But this is me, Parada Mortgage. I'm the CEO. I'm trying to build out here. How can we build?
Right.
And they're like, okay, wow, right? And then we start building people from there.
Yeah, you're like me, personable. Like that Zoom thing, unless it's somebody really huge, I won't do it.
Right.
So you could try to network Zoom-ish, but it's not the same as the person.
During COVID, I met up with the realtor, and I thought I was like doing a drug deal, man.
Yeah, right.
Big shout out to Vinny. It was my boy Vinny. We met up in Wellington at a Starbucks and just to talk business. But that time though, like you can't even be together. You can't even meet other people. You can't even sit on the bench. Remember that? Yeah. So I showed up in my car. He showed up in his car. I got out my car. I was looking around. Got in his car. I was like, "Yo, what's up, bro?"
You're like rolling down the window to have a business conversation.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, right? That's how it was. But even during COVID, we flourished. There's a lot of people on social media that said, "Oh, during COVID, I made the most I've ever made." No, you didn't. You're just saying that. Right, we were super comfortable. I have pictures that I'll never post because my youngest 4-year-old was playing with toilet paper. Remember the toilet paper? People were going crazy for it. Yeah, he was playing with it, throwing it around and rolling.
And meanwhile, people will pay the kid.
I know, like it was so bad.
I don't mean to change the subject, but you got to tell me the story that you said before we went on camera with your son. He'll sell ice to an Eskimo. This kid.
Oh man, he's just insane. When he grows up, he's gonna watch this podcast. But yeah, like I always say he's selling stuff because he walks up to. He's always grabbing stuff from the house, and he'll be like, "Hey, Tommy."
And again, he's 4.
Yeah, he's 4, and he's like, yeah, he's like, look. He's like, and he's always third person. He's like, Izzy, Izzy's hungry. His name's Israel. Yeah. So he's like, Izzy's this, Izzy's that, Izzy's always.
Oh, he talks in third person.
Yeah, he talks third person.
Oh boy.
What
did he try to sell you last time?
His watch, probably. He took his watch one time.
I tried to sell it back to him?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
He takes your phone and tries to sell it to you?
He gives it back like, hey.
Fucking kid.
But he's
good.
He's amazing.
It shows he's going to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, man. No, I do things with the kids, again, not to get off topic, but I tell them to come up with a business, and I give them a certain amount of money, like $500 or whatever, and then they come up with a business. And I remember this one time, my daughter came back with like, I want to do shirts with glitter and this and that. And then she came up with the cost. And then I was like, well, that's going to be more than 500. She's like, Daddy's got it. I go, 500 is your limit. And then she learned that money's not always there. So that lessons that they learn. Of course, I bought her the shirts.
Right,
so,
right.
But just so she can understand.
I bet your boy would have made his ass work though.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, how can you say no to the girl? But at least you tried.
Yeah,
but,
you have a beautiful daughter, man. You're gonna.
Oh, thank you.
You know that's gonna cost you a lot
of
too.
problems.
Daddy want pony. Daddy want this.
It's gonna cost me problems and money, for sure. On both, but that is pretty cool. But I just can't believe that kid's 4 trying to sell the world to everybody. But I love it though.
Come to the house, man. Yeah, you'll see.
Takes your hat, tries to fucking sell it back to you.
But yeah, man. No, but networking, man. Networking's been king. When I went to New Jersey, back from Maryland, I mean, no shame in the game, man. It was broke as hell. It was subprime. They hit, my brother lost a lot. I lost a lot, bro. You just got to start back from zero. And everyone's like, so what are we going to do now? So when I went back to Jersey, I went to Freehold. And I remember signing for an apartment with no job. And then at that time, my wife was like, what are we going to do? I'm like, don't worry, I'll figure it out. And I remember I put on the suit. And I would hit every store and restaurant because I know people will talk to you if you look good in the suit. I was drinking the same beer, man, for like hours. And there's people walking by, hey, what's going on? So what do you do? I was like, I used to do mortgages. You know what I mean? Like, and just start networking, man. Networking, talking to them because they see you a different light. If you're out there wearing jeans and a ripped up shirt versus you're wearing a suit, let's be real. People just treat you different.
I learned that with the engineering firm when I first came into this building.
Right.
I went to a meeting for a pretty big deal. And I didn't really wear suits, like suit jackets, like nice ones, but not suits and ties. So I think, all right, well, I'm going to go to Macy's, spend $500 on a nice suit, go into this meeting, nice tie, some fucking Calvin Klein tie, right? I walk in, fucking guy looked at me for 2 seconds. I knew it was dead. So then I went and asked my friend who does a lot of meetings like that because I hadn't done that. I could close deals, but not like the whole suit bullshit.
Right.
And he's like, the first thing they look at is the watch. Then they look at your loafers. And then they look at the suit. And if it's all matching...
They size you up. They size you up.
And then I noticed, now that I knew that, and the tie. And I realized, like when I did the breakers, and I did a Kmart recon, and a eyeglass place that was really big.
Right.
I noticed when I walked in to meet the owner, who was going to make the decision, he went like that to the watch, right to the tie, looked to see if my suit was tailored. And when I walked in, I saw him look down at my shoes. And he had Gucci loafers on. He had a Rolex. He had a same suit I had on. It actually worked out well. Zana. Not the cheap Zana, the real Zana.
Right.
But, I mean, that's everything. Because you walk in there not top notch from these heavy hitters, it's over. You might as well just turn around. You might as well just walk in and walk out.
Yeah, thank you. So you pretty much, it's true. You walk in there like you're a model, man. You have to be the business model, right? You have to hit all these, the watch, like you said, the shoes, the socks. I learned that a lot I'll tell you one thing. I learned how to dress from Italiano.
Yeah.
Right, because I worked for in Jersey. I got into a mortgage company. And he was like, man, you look like trash. I was a little bit offended. I was like, damn, I do?
Well, they'll tell you.
Yeah. So, he's like, your socks have to match your tie, your belt, your shoe, this and that. So I learned a lot, how to dress. And from moving forward, it looked nice. So one of the things that I wear a lot, networking, are buttons. Like right now I'm not wearing that much buttons, but like you see the veteran one, you see anything else that I want to put on the jacket. I tie my tie a certain way, like an overage knot. I don't do the regular knot.
I mean, you do the 2, right? So it's bigger.
Yeah, 2 or 3. So when people talk to you, they keep doing this. They keep looking like they're like, hold on, what is that? Like, or they say, hey, your tie's backwards,
but
or something.
You know what? When they do that, you know that you got them.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. It's over. It's just a couple more words and it's done.
The conversation just got interesting. If you're in the room with realtors and loan officers, everyone's talking the same crap. But we're talking about, how did you do that tie?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How did you do that? Well, that's crazy. And then that's how you just start a different conversation from it.
Same thing with engineering. When I would walk in and somebody would ask about like a watch or when'd you get those Gucci shoes or whatever, I knew it was a done deal.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, I'm just wasting my time sitting here. This guy, he's dead. He's dead. I got him. But I got sick of engineering shit anyway.
Yeah.
So then, you break off out of the umbrella and you come into your own like you are now,
Right.
and somehow you're able to get these loans approved with 550, 560, 570 credit,
Right.
200-300 grand loans for commercial and home, right?
Right. Yeah.
And that's in the comments on the one with Tico.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just blasted with that.
I saw that. I was. I think we had some people reach out to them on the comments, but those take longer and they have a lot of paperwork, a lot of work behind them. But we do them, and some people don't want to even touch those.
Well, like you say, we don't say.
We don't say no. We say yes.
We say yes.
Yeah.
I only read that 7 times.
So yeah, but which it's a little bit tweaked. We don't say no. We show you how. So in other words, if you do this, and that, we can get you here. Which is a little tweaking, man. That's all it is.
Right. So if you run into somebody that might be a little bit too low, you could say, "Look, I'll get it for you."
Yeah.
But first we got to do A, B, C, D.
We could do rapid rescores, get their credits up, kind of like going to the gym. Like you can have someone who keeps going to the gym, eating this, doing that, and their trainer says, if you just tweak your carbs here, if you just do this machine instead of that machine, they will get you where you want to be. It's the same thing,
And just based on the questions from the comments, if somebody has 550 credit or 540 credit, how much do you think you could get them?
Well,
now, if they have 540, do they have to do a number of things for you to be able to get it approved? Or you can get them approved at 540 with maybe a higher rate?
No, it'll definitely be a higher rate, right? Because there's more risk. But how much they can qualify for, we look at credit, income, and assets. So credit, okay, 540, we know that. Income and assets, those are big too. Of course, if you make 10,000, and I've had this a lot, self-employed people, you make 10,000 a month plus, and you have 100 grand in the bank, but your credit score is like 550, you can qualify for a lot because you make a lot. But your debt to income ratios, which is just something that we use to calculate how much you can qualify for, they're lower than if you had a 620 credit score. They're higher, so you have more purchasing power.
Right.
So how much you qualify depends on how much you make and how much you have.
So it goes by what you have in the bank and your assets
and your credit. Those are the three determining factors. Yeah.
Now, when you say assets, do you mean own?
Checking, savings, life insurance, anything you can liquidate. For the down payment, for the closing costs and stuff like that. Which we have programs, believe it or not, at 550 and up, where we can help with the down payment. It's called a DPA, and we can help with closing costs, 3%. So, but those are very niche, because if you're pretty much paying everything for the person, what's the likelihood of they're going to maintain those payments?
And then you get screwed.
Exactly.
The company that you're dealing with. So
really, we just don't throw a net out to the customer to say we'll take everyone. We want to make sure that we educate you on it. And when they're done with the process, they have their taxes put together, their banking, their financials. They know what they're doing. Because sometimes we ask somebody like, well, how much are you making on a 401k? Like, I don't know. My company just puts money there. By the end of the process, they know what they're putting in there. I haven't set up my bank statements. How much are you spending on this and what's this? I don't know. At the end of the process, they do know, right? So I always say, listen, when I get people that are like that, like, hey, I just want to buy a house, but I got all my paperwork is a mess, my finances is a mess. I'll tell them at the end of the process, we're gonna have you all put together. If it dismantles afterwards, that's you. But when we're done, you have your bank and your system, your taxes, you know how much you're getting on your 401k, your benefits and all that stuff. It's you know what's going on.
So now if somebody comes to paradamortgage.us and they contact you, they want to hire you, right? They got the 550, they're trying to get 200, 300, and they have nothing, right? They have 100 grand in the bank, loans on cars, whatever else, 550 credit. How long does the process take, average, if they listen to you, of course, to get to the point where now you can get them the loan?
It could take 30 to 45 days.
That's not bad.
And it depends on the property too, right? And it depends how picky they are on picking the property. Because believe it or not, I've qualified people in that scenario. I'm saying this respectfully, all right?
Yeah.
That is like $300,000 and they think they can buy $600,000. And I'm like, you can't afford this. You can't, you got to go a little bit lower and this and that. And so they have an image of a house that looks like 600,000, you know, but the house is really 300,000. You got to fix the kitchen out, you know, there's little cracks here, you know what I mean? So that's where it comes a little bit difficult compared to the people who can actually afford 500 plus, because the house looks beautiful, the house is nice, it has a yard, you know what I mean? So that's where it gets a little bit complicated, because it takes them a whole month to pick a house. I've had people take 6 months to pick a house.
Really?
And I'm like, man, you barely qualify. Let's go. Let's do this.
It's like, I got you.
Now is the time.
I don't know how long this is going to last.
Yeah.
Let's put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? So they take their time. But, you know, it's the individual. And there is a certain things happen in life. I understand if you're a great person, fortunately and unfortunately, you're judged on your credit score, right? So there are people that the credit score is actually accurate to who they are.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? There's people that it's not, you know, and it's unfortunate. But we see everything, man. We see the craziness in the industry.
Why is it that if you have a credit card, right, and the limit's $100K, and you put $100K on it, but you pay it off at the end of the month, but when the credit companies run your credit and they see that there's $50K on there, even though you pay it off at the end of every month, your credit goes down like crazy.
Yeah. So high balance, high risk.
Is that why they do that?
So what happens if you don't pay it?
But if you've paid it for like 24 months,
so
why in the hell would it go down? You're paying it off.
Yeah. So this is how they look at it. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but if you were to get like a credit card that has a credit limit of 100,000, and you pay it off every month, it shows, they look at it and it shows like you just came out with the money and paid it. It doesn't show that you can do regular payments every month. You know, the 500. They look at history of payment. There's no history of payment if you just pay it off.
I see. So that's why they say to leave like 10% balance all the 10%.
10%. They say 30, but I've been doing a lot of like rapid rescores, which is something like to help people raise their credit score. And it seems like 10, 15%, like it moves the needle more than 30%.
Really?
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that say they fix credit. They don't fix nothing but their pockets, man. I'll tell you that, man.
Yeah. Well, you got to make calls. You got to, you know, I have a piece of a credit repair company, and but this guy, he knows the book. So he calls him and hits him with, you know, like, say it's a medical thing. He hits the company with the word HIPAA.
Yeah.
And it's off that fucking credit report
in
2 weeks. So, like, he knows what he's doing.
Right.
But you're right, though. Most of them, $300 a month, 300 reoccurring. And then, you know, you'll see 5 points go up, 6 points. You know what I mean?
Naturally go up. They did nothing to it.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with them.
And they follow, like, Credit Karma or something. They think that's like...
And then they call you right away. Yeah. Because before I had a piece of the company, I had some... I think it was called... I hate them, so I'll tell them. It was called Credit Blueprint, I think.
You hate them.
Oh, I fucking hated them. Because they... Like, every time it went up, like, 2 points, this girl would call and be like, hey, Tommy, we got it up 2 points. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you fucking calling me about 2 points? Really? I swear to God. And it was like a reoccurring bullshit.
Did they charge you for every point?
Fuck yeah. No, not every point, but it was, you know, they were charging me every month to sit there and just call me and tell me that, I don't know, I paid $200 on a $300 limit credit card. You know what I mean?
No, you know, I'm very picky on those, because I think that a lot of them, this is my opinion, credit agencies are like scams, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, they just they sell you a pipe dream and they tell you it takes a year or something. There's very few companies. I will give a shout out to Jose Rodriguez. He's a Marine veteran. He's got a company called Got Credit, and they really do. He doesn't charge, from what I remember. He doesn't charge till it's actually off, till there's actually results.
Oh, cool. So
right. So
that's
that's
what you remember.
That's I don't know about now, but you know, I'm pretty sure it's the same. But I like that concept because hey, I'm gonna show you the results and then pay me.
And what's that? What's it called?
Got Credit.
Gotcredit.com.
Yeah. Well, let me come. I just remembered him. Yeah. We can add it here later on, but you know, I like that. I'll show you results and then you pay me.
Yeah.
Right? Because other companies, you don't see results and you're just dishing out cash.
But don't you think that's risky as a company? Because how if they do it, I get you up to 700 and I don't pay you.
Well, so people have to understand
Risk reward.
Just like in mortgages, I don't think that the customer is always right. I fired clients. Shit, I think Jose's fired clients, man. Like it's like, it's some people look at this like it's super customer based. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we give them customer service and then treat them like crap, but we fired them too. There's been people that I said, listen, I'm not going to do this loan for you. You're not appreciating what we're doing for you. Some other people will just throw themselves under the bus and make nothing. How you gonna make a living with that? I had a guy one time that he kept nickel and diming me on the rate. If I go down, 10 basis points, he finds someone who does 11. Then I come back at, man, get out of here, man. I'm not messing with that. Like I tell people, I'm gonna do everything that I can to help you. All I'm looking for is loyalty and commitment, right? I got you 100%. I've helped people get their credit up. I paid for it myself out of my own pocket because the bigger picture when they close, that's the big picture. They get their house, we get our comp, everybody's happy.
Yeah, so you put money out to get it done, but in the end, that gets you paid.
So you have to pick, and I'm pretty sure he does the same thing to your question. Pick who you work with, who you're going to help out. If you see that person's just trying to take advantage of you, or just in conversation, you can see it. I mean, bad example, but example. You seen the movie Hitch with Will Smith?
Yeah.
Remember he talked to that guy that he's trying to act straight. He's like, yeah, I'm looking for a girl. He's out in the park and he found out instantly that guy was a fake.
No, do you remember that part?
With the black guy.
I don't remember.
I never seen that.
You never seen Hitch?
What, do you live in a cave?
Interview's over, man. I'm out.
Yeah, you kind of do live in a cave.
No,
Okay,
but you know what I'm talking about. Like you can just tell, like in your industry, in my industry, like if I talk to someone, as a veteran, there's something called stolen valor. I don't know if you heard of it.
No.
People who act like they were in the military and they make stuff up. So I can sit down and I can talk to someone who says, "Oh, you in the army?" Just like we talked to Joe from John Elite's guy. Right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you in the army? Where you at? Where you stationed at?" Blah, blah. And he answered, I answered, and he answered, and then it was just fluid.
Yeah, you know who does that a lot to get laid? Firemen.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's a fireman.
What engine are you from?
Yeah, everybody's a fireman. Well, check this out. So there's one person that she knows, okay, said he was a fireman in Boca.
Right.
But my friend, Fireman John, who's a bodybuilder.
Fireman John.
Yeah, his name's Fireman John. No, like you're surprised by his name. But Fireman John, he's the captain in Boca Fire Department. So I say to John, "Do you know this guy?" He said, the fucking guy doesn't work down here. I run the place. You know, he's the captain of the fucking place, but they do it to get laid, just like with that.
Yeah.
You know? I'm a fireman.
I met one guy.
Which is pretty cool.
The other day we were just having a conversation.
They work hard, boy.
Oh, yeah. No, big respect to them.
Absolutely.
You know, I was talking to Jose the other day that I met a guy in New Jersey. They say he went to the Army. He couldn't give me his rank because it's top secret. This BS. And then I'm like, all right, where'd you go to boot camp? And he was like, Florida. I was like, man. I was like, it's
already starting to fall apart.
Yeah, it's already falling apart. You know what I mean? So, but people front, you know, and then so in industries, like I'm pretty sure even in podcasts, entertainment, definitely entertainment, but in like as a realtor, a loan officer, there's so many people that just talk a good game that a real person who's actually doing can see right through them.
Yeah.
You know, if I had a podcast or I didn't have a podcast and so, yeah, Tom, I got a podcast. Yeah, I got this guy on the show. I got John on the show. This, and you're like, no, you don't.
Right.
You know, how much one question you would ask, how much you spend on the mics? How much you do this, right? If I don't know how to answer that.
Right.
Right? I mean, I'm guessing those are questions you would ask.
Right. Well, see, you and I and some other people that we know, we understand that because we kind of, growing up, we kind of grew up like in the streets in a way. So like you can really read a bullshit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
These other ones that, good for them. You know, get the trust fund, mommy, daddy gives you everything, whatever it may be. I mean, I can run circles around them.
Right.
You know, it's not even a challenge. It's a joke.
Yeah.
You know, but that's good for your business though when they come in, if they got money, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's certain ways to approach it and talk to people, but I've had realtors come up to me after they told me that they're closing their top producers, and I really got to know them on a personal level. They come to me and be like, "Hey, man, do you have a loan for me, man?"
Yeah.
Like they're broke.
It happens.
You know, they're broke, and I get it, but you know, I get it. The act as if, you know, thing, but they act too much as if. and they're not making business. That means they're asking more than doing. Is what I'm saying.
Right. Now, when you compare like the real estate market in New Jersey to Florida,
oh man,
I mean, I know the prices are different.
Yeah.
I mean, well, they're double at least, right?
Listen, there's people here sleeping, man. When I came from Jersey down here, I was very active and talking. I'm still very active and talking. What kept me going is I kept going back to Jersey because I had the business over there too. So I go back to Jersey. We're out there, freehold. We're going to New York, doing this, doing that. Blah, blah. I come down here in Florida, doing this, doing that. When COVID happened and I stopped going back and forth to New Jersey, I was relaxed. You know, I was like, you know what? It's nice out here, man. I'm going to the beach. You know what I mean? So that's what happens to a lot of people who come up north and down. They bring that energy. But Florida is very relaxing, man. You want to go to the beach, you want to do this. It's hot out today. Let me go out, you know. And they kind of lose that New York, New Jersey speed that if they maintain it, which some of them do, you know, if they maintain it, they just kill it.
Oh, so
they outwork people.
So like you would go back to Jersey kind of to get that motivation again.
Yeah, I still had business over there.
Yeah.
I still have realtors over there. I still have people that work over there. You know, now it used to be a common thing every month going back and forth. You know,
you don't
I
do that?
had to maintain. No, I haven't done that in a while.
Too much.
There's no need to now.
Yeah, you're set.
You know,
now. Yeah.
so you know, but again, that's part of the process. Going back to what we were talking about, that people say, I gotta fly, I gotta go back. I just came back, living out of a suitcase, out of a hotel. This and that. God bless my family, man. You know, because those when you focus a lot on the business, you gotta give and take somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, just like when you work out and do stuff like that, like whatever you do that you commit and the lifestyle that you have, something has to give. You're giving something up to achieve that lifestyle.
Right.
You just don't achieve it, and never. You can't be eating fast foods and all that stuff and be like a bodybuilder. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but if you want to be Parada Mortgage at the level that you're at, you got to get on that airplane. You have to drive to Orlando. You got to go over to Naples when you don't want to go.
I took some guys. I had to teach them how to do handshakes.
Yeah, that's
because handshakes are important too.
Very big,
right? Even looking in the eye, like the kids today, man. Like I sound old when I say that, but you know the kids today, they don't. Nothing. The handshake's all like floppy, fishy. They don't even look at your eye.
They don't give a strong handshake.
You're having a conversation. Tell me if this pisses you off.
The phone, you mean?
The phone.
While I'm talking to somebody?
Yep.
Does that piss me off?
Yep. You haven't tried to have a conversation like, our time
drives me fucking. I want to take the phone and smash it with the sledgehammer and then bring them back to pieces. Is what I want to do.
you know, so just teaching them that etiquette, right, and how you should present yourself. You know, how you should talk to them. How be like, you know what? I met your team, man. They're good handshakes, on the point. They're about it. They knew their stuff. I'm impressed. Yeah. Other than saying, hey, man. These guys, they don't even look at me. They're all in the corner. They look like trash. Suits not tailored. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All that stuff. But I do have to say, all my guys here in Florida, and we have to do something with them. They're all Marines. All of them.
Yeah, bring them in whenever you want.
They're all.
We'll schedule them.
So they're very on point. And the cool thing about them is that they all have their own personality. And I have this one guy, Joseph, and you'll see. He's like, yeah, man, I'm just, I just do me, man. Like, he's so cool, man. He's from Haiti, but that's his demeanor. Then I have another guy, Knight. He's a bodybuilder. I have my nephew, Isaac. He's the dancer. He's active. And, it's just, we just capture everything. So when we go to a networking event, people just love us. I don't even have to do anything anymore. I just let them do that.
You could finally take a break, right?
Well, I send them to a lot of places, and I tell them, hey, I did it. I've been there, done that. I mean, the big ones I'll go to. But the other events, the meet and greets, I send them, man, and they have a ball. They have a blast. They stay out as late as they want. They're dancers. They do all this,
Yeah, we'll schedule it. We'll schedule them in. We got 4 chairs.
It's amazing, bro.
9 million cameras in there. So now, when you're building this up, you're spending a lot of time building it up,
right?
And you have 2 kids, right?
Yeah, I have 6 in total, but yeah.
You have 6 total kids?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know. Okay, so you got 6 kids,
right?
Okay, and you have a wife,
right?
Okay, how did they handle that when you're working? What are you working? 20 hours? When you were building it up to this point, how many hours were you putting in a day?
All day.
Now, how did they handle that you're working all the time?
No, it affected. And I remember being at the house this one time in New Jersey, And this was during one of the times when I just moved in, and it was rough. It was bad. And I was sitting on boxes with a laptop, and I had a bunch of files around me just working. I had a friend come to the house. He's like, Glenn, quit. Stop. Your family's suffering. Stop doing this. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it just went here and it went out here, man, to be honest with you. Because I knew, I said, no, I got this. And I kept going. But they were. You know, I'll be BSing you if I tell you not. It affected the family, affected marriage, affected kids, time and that. Because I just had to dedicate that. And that's where people, they can't give that commitment. Right? I tell them this. I did that. You don't have to do that. I did Parada Mortgages here. I'd share the story of how bad it was and all the issues and internally and how it affected the family and the kids and all that. All this, which by the way, all that is good now. But to be able to do that financial boot camp, people can't pass that. That's where they fell.
Right, because you had to give up a shit ton to get where you're at now. Now you can sit back and get home at a certain time. But for years, you had to work probably, I mean, more. I know I have a friend that up in Pennsylvania that does like what you do. Mm-hmm. He was working when he was, it's huge now, like you are. Right. He was probably fucking working like 20 hours a day. And he had 3 kids and a wife. And that marriage lasted about...
At that time, my wife was... I remember at that time, my wife would be like, what are you doing? It's 4 a.m.
Is that what she'd say?
And then I remember I had, at that point, I had people in the house. I was working at the house. She would come down and they're going through files. You know,
just trying to help you.
Going through files, and they were just like what do you call it? Like QC in the files, like reviewing, like what's the word? Like scrubbing the file. Oh, because Jose has like this sheet that he gave me. I used to take all his stuff, man, on how to.
I hope he's giving you a cut from this. You're an ass. Thank you. Now I know not to go into business with him.
Looking, baby, bro.
But yeah, so I had them like going through files, man. There's a lot of paperwork, tax returns, make sure this matches that, blah, blah. And she's like, wow, you guys are actually working. It's 4 a.m. Yeah, I had some drinks, some food, but we're hustling and bustling. You know, you can go out there and have a good time. Don't get me wrong. I love having a good time. But I for me personally, just kind of, again, I always go back to the workout type of example. You can have a cheat meal if you put in the work.
Right.
So I'll have my cheat meal, which is go out, have a couple of drinks, and have fun. But 99% of the time, man, I'm just putting in that work. I have to build a legacy, and for people, not to get off topic so much, as immigrants that come here, we don't have that legacy built here. So we're building a new legacy for the people. Other family members, extended family members. Man, let's keep it real. Sometimes they have bad credit. They're not making money. Who's gonna do it for them? Yeah. Who's gonna build it for them?
That's right. You know what I mean? You're double whammy because you're an immigrant. So you're not. I mean, let's just be real. You're not looked at as like a regular American. So it's even harder for you to get to the top.
Yeah, but
no, I'm just saying
you're right. I don't even look at that card, but you're right.
It is.
You're right. It's there. But we have to establish that foundation that wasn't there. So I'm like first generation. Would we consider ourselves first generation? Yeah. So we're first generation. I was born in El Salvador.
Yeah.
So probably my kids are first generation.
That's what I mean. It's especially when I mean, now it's different, but when you're building this at the time, if you're not American, people looked at you different. I know when I was growing up in high school, if you were Spanish or whatever, Haitian, whatever it may be, you were treated differently than
it's funny, man.
White person.
Yeah, it's funny because and
I'm not being racist.
No,
but I mean that's just really how it was, right?
Not at all. But I remember in Beechwood in the '80s in Lakewood. Beechwood, New Jersey. There was only 2 Mexicans in that school, in elementary school. 2. And we fought each other.
Really?
He was his own gang. I was in my own gang. I don't know what happened, but we fought each other. And I remember just hearing stories from Jose. I think Jose was playing soccer. They called him La Bamba or something like that. They used to racially. No, he was playing soccer. But we grew up with Italianos. That was super cool.
Do you know where Beechwood is?
Yeah.
Right next to Lakewood.
And I grew up in Atlantic City where it's predominantly Spanish. So like in our high school, if you weren't Spanish, you were the sore thumb. But Tommy's from Philly, where it's probably predominantly white. And if you're Spanish, you stuck out like a sore thumb.
If you were Spanish in South Philly,
But in
you stuck
my
out
place,
like.
Yeah.
And then there was North Philly.
Ecuadorian, so
Yeah, in Philly it was Italian, Albanian, not very many Spanish, a couple Haitian, and then over in North Philly, whew, you don't want to go there.
Well, I mean,
The cops wouldn't even go in North Philly. I'm telling you,
yeah. Was
there'd be-
that Kensington or no?
No, that's another part. They'll go in there. That's a lot of Irish, but it's all drugs. All drugs, fentanyl, heroin. Well, not when I was there. Fentanyl didn't even exist, but I mean, fucking heroin like crazy. Kensington's nasty.
I
That's
drove by there. It's insane.
It's insane. There's people on the bridges everywhere. They're on the side of the road. There's trash. There's guys selling needles on the sidewalk. That's Kensington. It's very white. Then you go to North Philly. Me or you, I don't know if we'd make it out.
Yeah.
No, it's bad.
I remember that one of my first times in like the bad area of Philly. Again, I got a lot of stories with Jose, man. But
North Philly's dangerous.
Jose took me over there to Philly, and he was like, "Listen, we're gonna go visit a friend." He's like, "You've never seen white people like this."
You know North Philly?
And then this was back like what, early '90s, Jose? Like,
I used to go to Philly when the side of Philly where all houses are sideways. They look
Yeah.
like lunchboxes, things.
Yeah.
so, and it was man, it was rough. Early '90s Philly, like,
Yeah, I was in there like early 2000s,
yeah,
and it was fucking crazy. Kensington was a fucking mess of drugs.
yeah.
Not a lot of murder, but just, drugs and home invasions and stuff like that. And then North Philly, I mean, there was like 20 murders a day. And the cops were like, "You're paying me $35,000. I'm not going in there."
Right.
And they really wouldn't. No, they would not go to North Philly. They'd just go get the body when everybody left. I'm dead serious. I'm not messing with you, really. It was bad.
It's insane, man. But you know what? I remember one of the good memories I have in Philly is politically, because we went to Philly because I was just thinking about it. Went to the bad neighborhoods in Philly during 2016 for the Trump campaign, and I remember I was literally stopping people. I was using my sales technique, stopping people in the street. Hey, my man, let me talk to you real quick. I'm like, what's up, man? And it's like, who you gonna vote for? And they were like, quote unquote, all right. They're like, "Yo, my man Donald Trump, that's a real nigga right there," right? And I was like, "Oh, word?" I was like, he's like, "I'm gonna vote for him. He's the real deal, man. That's my boy, right? That's my boy." I was like, there's nothing we had to do. They
Just so everybody knows, you're not being racist.
Yeah,
You're just repeating what somebody said.
I quoted what they said. You know what I mean? And they just loved them. They loved them.
You cheat enough, you can win, right? I mean, that's just the truth. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So now, explain to people what you do with the Republican Party.
Well, I am the political director for the state of Florida for the Republican National Hispanic Assembly, and it's just awareness to the Hispanic community about legislation. We advocate for stuff for the Hispanic community on the right aisle, not the left aisle. So our platform, man, it's family, God, and country. Anything that doesn't really fit there, and we can break it apart. Look, throw anything that Biden's doing right now. It's not for country. It's not for family. It's not for God.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really getting bad. Now, with going back to the real estate real quick, I forgot to ask you. When you see these prices going up like crazy, like my house went up like $200,000. My house is not worth what it's saying right now.
Right.
It's just not. How much does that concern you? Because don't you think there's going to be a pop?
So during subprime, what happened was,
And explain what the subprime is.
Subprime is during the wild wild west of mortgages, where they had a bunch of ninja loans, no income, no assets. You tell me how much you make, I put it down. How much you have, I put it down. I don't have to verify nothing. And it was a wild wild west because you tell me your house, it's worth really $100,000, and I can get an appraiser to say it's worth $500,000. Doesn't it just, we did whatever we wanted to do, and that's why you imploded, right? Because we had pay option arms during that time, and just only we had interest rates for a month, locked for a month, and then it would jump up 10. So I'd be like, "Hey Tommy, I got you 1%." Like, "Oh man, you're the man." Next month, 12.
But doesn't that concern you that this is going to be a bubble that pops again? Like,
Well, all that to say this, back in subprime time, the appraisers used to inflate the prices. What worries me now is the appraisers are not doing that. We are doing that. The buyer, that's the sellers, better said the sellers, or the realtors, they're inflating the prices. It's disgusting, man.
so it's actually the seller that's just raising the price, and then everybody else follows the lead. Is that
and the sellers and the realtors, man? The realtors are just jumping on top of that, because your house could just whatever. Let's just say anyone's house, right? It's $300,000. They sell it for $500,000. They want to make $200,000 on top. Well, as a realtor, that's an extra, rip. You're making more money, and then not only that, you have like 10 people bidding on your house. Jose, didn't you have like someone bidding 50 people on a bid or something like that? Overpricing the house that's not even worth there. And I've even done loans when people pay $10,000 so they can get their contract accepted. It's sick, man. It's disgusting. And so when what's happening now is they're self-inflating the market, and that is going to crash.
you think it will crash?
Oh, it will. It always will.
Bad.
Yeah, because when it's time to refinance and the value's not there, what are you going to do?
How long do you think?
Probably,
From what you're seeing.
Well, how long is Biden in office?
Fuck it. He's only been in, a year?
Yeah.
I mean,
We have to get him out.
He's got a while yet, but he's not going to stay in there.
No.
He'll be out within 6 months. He'll be out. Nah, maybe a year. They got to make it look good, right?
Yeah.
They'll keep him. Well, I don't know.
They got to keep it medicated long enough.
If he doesn't start listening to his bosses, he might be out quicker than a year. But I think they got to keep him in for 2 and then throw him out.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, listen, as a Hispanic Republican, which I want to talk to you about as well, we look at this of what he's doing is control. He's trying to control the people. We left our countries to not be controlled by government, and he's controlling it. But the thing is that he's doing stuff that, I talk to Jose, I talk to other people, I'm like, doesn't everybody see what's going on? And no one's doing anything about it. It's like they don't care. I think let me check. I think they do, but the people who are in charge don't. The Nancy Pelosi, the AOC, the Bernie Sanders, the Schumers, like no one's doing anything. The people that can actually stop, what he's doing, like it's insane.
I think they just don't care.
There's a book. When I was in Tallahassee, they showed me a book that they put it in elementary school on how kids can masturbate.
What?
Yeah, the book has pictures on how to have homosexual sex.
Where was this, in a library?
This is in schools right now. And so we were in Tallahassee, and we were like, and I think I took pictures of it, and I was like, this is crazy.
Wow.
I was like, why would you have to teach that to an 8-year, 10-year-old?
Why even bring that up?
Why even bring that up? You know what I mean? Or why even bring up, pick your gender? Like they do in California. They're in elementary, they're doing like a whole thing where the kids can pick their gender. Why are you even bringing this up? In New York City, they're doing late abortions where they can give birth and still kill the baby. No one's paying attention. I get passionate about it. Sorry,
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No one's paying attention to the legislation that's going on. So one of the things that I focus on is just put that legislation out there and say, hey, what do you think about that? A lot of people say, oh, I don't like politics. I don't like Republicans and Democrats are all the same to me. I'm like, all right, cool. What do you think about this legislation? They go, oh my God, they're killing babies. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And then they start really looking into themselves and be like, I think I'm Republican because I don't stand for that stuff.
You know what's funny? It's like out of all the places, New York, right? You can't go out. You can't do anything. They're like California, basically. But you can wait till the last minute to kill a baby. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It doesn't make, it's like, do you see like the contradiction? Like, you can't go out to eat, but you can kill a baby at 8 months, 9 months.
Yeah, that makes no sense. And their logic is that's just a cell. That's the way they have the heartbeat bill and stuff like that we have here in other states. But it's a lot of crazy stuff that's going on that people are not aware of.
So now, how do you fix that?
Awareness.
Awareness?
Did you know this?
Did I know this?
No,
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, well,
No,
I'm just saying
knew,
that.
Yeah, no, I knew about the
Like,
abortion thing. Yeah.
A lot of other people, like, did you know about this law? Like in Florida, we just defeated a law that a 15-year-old cannot have an abortion without her parents, because prior she could have had an abortion without having to tell her parents.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
So now we fought that. DeSantis, our governor, thank God for our governor, put that bill where now the parents have to know that she's pregnant and she wants to have an abortion, this and that.
He's done a great job.
He's done an amazing job. He's standing up to this administration.
I don't think he's ready for president, but I think he's done a great job.
I think he'll get a lot of votes. I mean, but Trump already, he kind of put his name in the hat. But
he ain't gonna run.
But we gotta see what happens. Anyone other than the left right now, because it's not even politics. It's like good versus evil right now.
Let me ask you something. If a good Democrat ran, would you vote for him?
Define a good Democrat.
Let's just say Donald Trump decided, I want to be a Democrat today. Same policies, same thing. I'm going to switch over to Democrat. Would you vote for him?
That doesn't exist, though.
But how if it did?
No, but I'm saying, like, if Donald Trump says I'm going to be a Democrat, he has to change his whole platform. And the whole platform is why I'm a Republican, why I'm a Trumpster.
Okay, let me word it differently. If somebody you liked ran as a Democrat, would you vote for them?
Let me think about a Democrat that I like.
All right, that answers the question. That's good enough. I tried to beat it out of you. I lost.
No, because it's completely opposite thought. It's like saying, I love this and I hate that. What if the thing that you hate loves you back or something? I'm trying to rationalize with it, but it's just the mindsets are so opposite. I think that Democrats stopped being Democrats during Bill Clinton's administration, because after that there's no bipartisan.
Yeah.
After that it's all division, right? You're either left or you're right. Now is you either left or you're right, or you're extreme left. And extreme left, the cancel culture, all this crazy stuff that's going on. Dave Chappelle stood up to it. I saw Jim Brewer and other comedians stand up to it. I mean, people are done with it. They're sick with it. This cancel culture thing is insane.
Yeah.
And so when you take it to that extreme, that's when you start losing people. When they say Elmer Fudd is racist, or Bugs Bunny, or the Dog Patrol cartoons. I mean, are you seriously? This thing about it, they sat down in Congress and they said Elmer Fudd is racist. Like, they were like, they literally thought about this, man. Instead of other policies, we got veterans, we got mental health, we got homeless, we got the deficit, we got this. They were thinking about, what?
Elmer Fudd,
the dog patrol and Elmer Fudd.
What was the other one that they changed? Amos.
Oh yeah,
the one that's been around forever.
They're changing all that stuff,
Amos,
man. Yeah,
Alan, whatever the one is, and then the Redskins are no longer the Redskins.
Man, yeah,
it's crazy, man.
I'm always gonna be a Redskins fan, man. I used to love football, and they ruined that for me, man.
What are they called? The Washington.
The Washington.
Is that the actual name? The Washington.
That's like saying Florida's not Florida anymore. Now it's the state.
So it's like the Washington versus
whoever.
The Dolphins.
Cowboys. Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
You got $1 billion in that office, that board meeting, and you pick the Washington.
That's just those extreme left liberals ruin everything, taking statues down, mandating stuff. That's what a lot of past dictators have done. Not to get too crazy, but that's what Hitler did, man. That's what the ISIS did in Afghanistan. They took down all the statues. They're trying to repeat that. And we see it. A lot of people see it. But the thing is that people who run the media act like no one else sees it. But so when you put on the TV, you have very limited people to tell you or show you what they want you to see, what's going on in the world. Their narrative, their perspective. But I guarantee you the majority of America is not with that.
Well, you can see the ratings.
Mm-hmm.
See me, I'm down the middle. Seriously. I'm for whoever's good. So if a Democrat ran for office and they were good and had good policy and I believed them, I would go that way. If a good Republican ran, I'm open-minded. You know what I mean? But I do see, I agree with you, I do see that now it's either all the way this way or all the way that way.
They're
just so extreme on both sides.
If you go back and you look at legislation, there's opportunity for bipartisan, give and take. A little bit for the Republicans, a little bit for Democrats, a little bit more for Democrats, a little bit for Republicans. But now that doesn't exist. There's no legislation that's bipartisan. It's either everything they want or everything we want.
So
And that's why stuff doesn't get done.
So now I keep trying to ask you about this. Tell me about this oil thing you got going on. Oil and Gas is a private independent gas and oil company in the United States operating in South Florida, engaged in consulting, contracting, exploration, and production of refineries, crude oil, and gas.
Well,
Now, last time when you were Tico, you want to talk to me about it. Are we
Well,
still on that same page here?
no, I mean a little bit, a little bit. But York Atlantic Line, I'll tell you this: if you ever see that in a ticker, invest.
What is it called?
Right, York Atlantic Line.
York
York Atlantic Line. Yep.
Invest in that stock?
Yeah, definitely. If it comes up, because what we're pretty much doing is, we have invested interests on Central America. I can just feel my brother looking at me right now.
Yeah, he's holding his face. You better just stop.
But the thing is this is I can go on the consulting because that's part of that as well too of what we do, because we have Parada Works, which is also the film production. All this stuff here, not to include Parada Mortgages, but your Atlantic Line and Parada Works through the Parada Consulting Group and Investments. That's what we do, like stuff that the conversation, I'm trying to put the name out earlier, that we had the gentleman that with the heart stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna try to put that through that. That is like a Central American International Mutual Fund per se, right?
Okay.
So we're gonna fund different projects out of that. And so my brother is the one who really handles a lot of the international business. So the Parada Works, we'll have Dean in here. He does stuff for Amazon. He does stuff for Netflix. He does movies. He's a movie producer, right? And so we're gonna try to fund stuff through him. I want to be in those movies, so I told him, hey, if you do a movie about zombies, I don't need to be the main person. Just put me in a zombie suit and murder me. I want to see that. You know what I mean? And same thing with York Atlantic Line. We just invest in commodities and invest in stuff that's gonna really build.
So if somebody's trying to get a book deal or a Netflix deal, they could actually call Parada.
They can actually call Parada Works,
and then that would get shifted to the film production department.
So to use that same example, someone has a book, someone has a movie script, they can call Parada Works. We have someone there that will talk to them. If it makes sense enough to put it in front of a director or a movie person and say, hey, do you think we could do something with this? And they go, yes. Then you can go to the second phase, right?
Nice.
And then you look at how much the cost might be and everything else. And because I learned how expensive it is to make a movie, even a low budget movie. It's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, well, a friend,
permits and actors and all that stuff.
I can't say his name because it's not out yet. Like they are with Hush Hush.
Yeah.
So the contract was $4 million. He
Right.
got $4 million. You know how much he got out of the $4 million?
What?
50,000.
Damn.
Because Netflix came and said, "Here's $4 million." Right?
Mm-hmm.
Got the $4 million, but they hold it. Got to buy the production company. Okay, that's $1.5 million. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So now you're down to what, 2.5. Okay. Now you got, this camera guy, that camera guy, the editor guy, blah, 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 blah. Now you're down to 2. Then Netflix takes their piece. Now you're down to 1. Now you got taxes. Okay. Now you're down to $700K, whatever.
Right.
Now you got a partner because your partner wrote your fucking book that turned it into a movie. So now you got $700K at this point. Now you got to split that 50-50. So now you got $350K. And then, I don't know, they nickeled and dimed them on promotions. Then the promotions kill you.
Agencies and all that stuff.
Agencies, so, that's 100 there, 100,000 here, 100,000 there. And before you know it, that $4 million is done. But the way you make the money, or he's hoping to make the money, I guess, is on the residuals. So off the rip, he only got $50K on $4 million, which when I looked at the spreadsheet, my mind was blown.
Wow.
But it's what they do. And I've had multiple people in here that had deals with Netflix, and every one of them said the same thing. I don't know if you would say fuck them, but you're not getting much off the rip.
I guess you have to capitalize on the fame that you have on that.
Right. So I think with like a Netflix thing, in my opinion, just from the people that I've talked to, it should be more looked at as a way to get out there in the public.
Right.
And if you get the residuals and get rich and you kill it like a Narcos or something like that, great. But if not, you're on Netflix. And now you could take that and, like you said earlier, network that around. Hey, I'm on Netflix. They don't know that you only got 50 grand out of 4 million. They know that you're on Netflix, and then you could turn that into something bigger.
The one, because I play a lot of Netflix sometimes when I'm working, I just put something on TV. I put Fox News and put political stuff, but it gets very old, man. Imagine listening to politics 24/7.
I can't watch it.
Yeah,
I can't.
So I put Netflix on, and there's a show about a Tiger King or something like that, Exotic Joe or something like that. You know what I'm talking about?
I think so. I think I heard of
the
that.
Tiger King guy.
Yeah.
And he was locked up and supposedly making some money off of Netflix, but not because of Netflix is paying him, but because he got famous off of Netflix.
Right.
And he's selling T-shirts and this and that, and they sensationalize the name.
But I'll tell you who I did hear pays. Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah.
And like the Amazon movie thing, like basically Netflix's competitor.
Right.
I've had 1, 2.
Well, Amazon has a
3.
lot more money than Netflix.
I've had 3 guys in that had deals,
Mm-hmm.
and that looked good. That looked like a good deal.
Well, Bezos, man,
Well,
he's up there.
yeah, well, he just had to give his wife half of what he's got.
Oh my God, I guess
That was a big.
Guess they're-
Imagine writing that check. I think he gave her, what's he worth, like 800 billion?
yeah, he's up there, man.
I mean, he had
almost a trillion. No, he's worth $1 trillion.
So
Remember, that was in the
that's
news.
right,
It was $1
because
trillion.
he did trillion, because Apple hit the trillion first, and then he did.
But see, Apple hit it as a company. He
Right,
hit it as
as a
himself.
Imagine writing that check to her for 500 billion. Ugh.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine that ink on that paper? You
Write
must
that.
have really wanted
Write
to get
that
rid
in
of
gold.
or the non-disclosure. So there's something that he gave her that fucking much,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I don't know. Fuck do I know.
Wow.
But what else you got up there? You got that. We went through all that. I just want to make sure we hit everything here. And then you bring the Marines in. And now what can we expect up? We got the TV show coming. Obviously, we got Parada Mortgage. Your brother's helping you out, or your brother put you on, really, technically. So what can we expect here in the future, other than?
Well, I have a Wikipedia page that I qualify for.
Do you?
Come out, so I think that's pretty cool. So when you Google me, probably by January, the first thing you'll see will be a Wikipedia page, and I'll have the stuff that I did politically. I'll have stuff from what I'm doing currently and the past and history. And I've been a very quiet person, a very private person lately. But if you have to build, and people have to know who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't just get there without, like, who is this guy anyways, right? So just being an open book, my experiences and what I've done. I'm going to finish this one book that I started that I call Win by Losing. It's about stuff that I lost that made me win, right? So that should be out next year as well. We're going to expand to Cali. We're going to expand to Texas with Parada Mortgage. Alabama and Georgia, believe it or not, those 2 states are just booming in real estate right now. People are investing like crazy in Georgia and Alabama. So we're looking at growth, right? I want to keep building the military environment. I'm telling my Marines that they have to go with versus the Army people. We got to take them somewhere where there's mud and have them fight over a loan.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, but cool stuff. But a lot of promos. I think I'm very creative for commercials that I want to do. One here on the island. And I have a barber that's going to bring a barber chair and cut my hair on the beach. And we're going to record it and just be like something like Parada Mortgage.
You're still not going to get rid of that, huh?
No, we'll see what we do. We'll see what we do. But like I said, a lot of the pictures now, I have it up there.
What do you think? You think you should get rid of that?
Yeah, I should tone it down. Maybe like the other pictures.
We'll see.
Because they're going to look at that and then look at you now and be like, who the fuck is this?
Well, you see all the ones with the politicians. They're there. We'll see.
Whatever makes you happy.
We might trim it a little bit.
If it makes you happy, you keep it. Do whatever you want. But I think professionally you look cleaner. But who am I to fucking talk?
No, we'll definitely say, yeah. The census talks.
You'll get it to work either way.
Yeah.
You're smart. You're good. You're good. You're very charisma. You're good. So you got that. Anything else?
Yeah, well, definitely more PR, man. We're looking for more PR, build out these other business. Working on some stuff with my brother Jose. Hopefully, that got to close this coming year. We've been working on it for years, right? Some projects. So I think 2022 is really going to be a breakout year. It might be a breakout year right off the first quarter, but definitely for Parada Mortgage, Parada Works, the PCG&I. Like these are concepts that we just didn't come up with overnight. These things that we've been working years with. That it's like it's coming to a point where the next year things are gonna really break out. So we might do another podcast and say, hey, we got this movie coming out that you know one part of. Hey, we got the TV shows blowing up and this created this other opportunity, right? So I think it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna take a lot of time, but now we understand that time management is key.
Yeah, right. and I think now's the time. First quarter is always the biggest.
Yeah,
I don't think that will.
That makes your year.
Yeah, that makes your year because everybody's ready to go. They got their budget, and you know, so you want to probably have that ready by then.
Yeah.
And then you got all that done, and then you got a lot of stuff with a lot of events coming up. You have any events coming up you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I mean, we're thinking about putting together a Parada Mortgage thank you event here on the here in the island. But what we are going to focus is next year is at do an event every quarter. And we want that event to be the event. I want next year to be like, hey, I missed the Parada Mortgage first quarter event, but I heard that was amazing. I can't wait to the next one. I want people fighting for those tickets.
And then you teased it up that whole second half.
Oh, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and then just fourth quarter, everyone's happy, like where we're at now, Christmas, New Year's. You know, something that people really look forward to. And then the quarterly, we celebrate every quarter because every quarter you should be successful, not just at the end of the year, right? You know, exactly. So, you know, just keep the momentum going. It's really going to build. And I think that there's a lot of opportunities, and especially with writing for Forbes might be a thing for next year. You know, just a lot, man. But it's been a lot of work, and that's what 2022 is going to bring us. We're going to grow. We're going to expand.
But you know what I see that you did that I think was really, really intelligent is that, say the mortgage thing gets fucked, right? Because it's going to pop. You even said it. So you know you're going to have a period of time where it's going to be shitty. But you have backup. You got the oil and gas. You got the consulting and investment. You got the film thing. So to me, that's really, it shows how smart you are as a businessman. That, yeah, Parada Mortgage is my thing, and I'm killing it now. But just in case, when this blows up into pieces for a year or two, I have three monsters right behind it. Well, plus the show.
Yeah, well, people have to understand when people lose money, someone makes money.
Yeah.
Right? So just like options and stocks. You can do options if the stock goes down, you can make money. If it goes up, you can make money. Depends where you're at. So this is like my options. These is my stocks. This is a call and puts. This is my bear and bullish. So to your extent, if the market crashes and it goes down, there's ways, even in the mortgage industry, where we can make money, right? But we have all these other options we can go back to because someone's making money.
Right.
Someone's still investing. Movies are still coming out. Commodities are still there.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think this is really, really an intelligent
I appreciate that. Thank you, man.
And I'm sure Jose helps you out with that too.
Yeah, you know, he's there. You know, I'm not taking all the credit. You know.
Last question.
No, he does a lot. He does a lot. Yeah.
Because I get asked this a lot, like in the thing, and I think, you know, what do you think of the stock market right now? Would you say buy or wait?
It depends what you get into.
Okay, other than your stock.
Anything like OTCs, like pink sheet stuff, those are all hype stocks.
Okay, what's an OTC and what's a pink sheet?
Like anything like people that can't get on NASDAQ and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They're like penny stocks. So those are all hype stocks. So one time with STPNV, I think it was, I bought that stock. I bought like $1,000 of that stock. But the stock was like, for every penny that it went up, I made $100. And I was at Rutgers at that time. I remember early in the morning, I was in math class, right? Post 9/11 veteran bill that paid for my college.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there and I hear my phone. Zzz, zzz, zzz. I'm like, who the hell's calling me, man? You know, and I just peeked down. I was like, oh, stock's going up. Just made $300. Zzz.
On a penny. On a penny stock. Right?
I kept going zip, zip, and I kept looking, and I was like, "Oh shoot, I made 1,000." When it hit like 2,000, I looked at the kids next to me. I was like, "Oh my god, the stock's hitting!" And the 18, 19-year-old like, "What?" Because I was older. Obviously, this was after the military, so I ran out, and I saw that it kept going up. By the time I got back to the office, it hit 32 grand.
Ooh.
With $500 with $1,000 that I invested. That doesn't happen all the time. But they hyped it up because 50 Cent was buying this weed stock,
well, it's just like
which he probably was never gonna buy that weed stock.
Well, it's just like Elon Musk put $2 billion in Bitcoin. It shoots the fuck up. 3 days later, he takes it out. He made $4 billion on that because everybody saw Elon Musk did it. Wow, this must be the thing to go with.
Right.
Shit shot up, and then Elon pulls it out, and I mean, what do you think? He doubled his money.
Oh, absolutely.
So he went from $2 billion to $4 billion in 3 days.
I think that anyone who's going to invest in stocks right now has to invest on the problems that we're having, the embargoes, the things that the ships are being stuck, not going anywhere.
But from a business aspect, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Right.
I think that would be a dumb investment because of who you have making the decision to let those ships come in.
No, but either way, they have to pay for the diesel to make it run. That could be a commodity. Either way, they have to pay for the crew, who owns the crew. If the ship gets, if something goes wrong on the ship, who runs it? Like, for example, when Tesla came out, I didn't invest in Tesla. One, because I was an idiot, but I was looking more at who's creating Tesla.
Yeah.
Right? Who's creating the tires, the engine, and stuff. Those companies, people just focus on the production that's already completed.
Right.
They don't focus on the manufacturing.
Right, like who's making the battery? Who's making the parts?
They got the contract, man. They're making billions. So that's what I'm telling. Like, look at what's going on in the world right now, nationwide, actually, and see where you can put your money in to see how that's being sustained, instead of just whatever the ticker is. You know, there's this shortage in wine. You heard there's shortage in turkey for Thanksgiving. At Costco, you can't buy more than 2 boxes of towel paper, right? So
really, now?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
So what's going on? Who's like? I always look back and do my research and say who's holding these contracts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you go through everything and see what all the moving parts are.
So my answer to that is do your research.
And especially now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
At this particular point in time.
Short everything.
Short everything. Or as soon as you see it go up, cash out.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
That's it, man.
I just won't mess with it.
Yeah.
To me, it's just too risky.
Yeah.
Same with Bitcoin. I mean, I respect those who do the Bitcoin, and I hope they make a ton. Just for me, just too shady for me. I know, but and I wish you the best with it. But you know,
no. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Anything else in 2022 you want to throw out there?
Man, just want to keep coming back here, having a good time
all the time, man.
You know, promote it. Want to get this show out with the Hispanic community, man.
Yeah,
put some subtitles on it.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, so I think just building, grow, networking, continue what we're doing, but at a higher level. You know,
are you going to make a YouTube channel to go along with the?
Yeah, I want to. Yep.
Okay.
Definitely, and it could be Spanglish as well.
Yeah.
You know.
So you'll send me all the links in the description, the phone number, everything. We'll have that in there.
Absolutely.
And thank you again, Glenn, for your time.
Thank you for having me, man.
You're welcome. Thank you for introducing me to Jose.
We have to bring him next time.
Yeah, next time we'll get him in territory.
Yeah.
And then we'll get the military guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
All right, Glenn. I appreciate your time, buddy. I'll see you
very,
very soon.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.